Hey beer lovers, welcome back to the Hong Kong Beer Project. This is my second video and it's my first video in December. So I still have Skol and San Miguel to go. So that's going to be the topic for this video. I also want to say happy holidays because it's my first video in December, and let me show you my Christmas tree while you're here. It's a tiny little Christmas tree, but it's our Hong Kong Christmas tree. Rachel got a bunch of Hello Kitty ornaments. So there are 4 beers in Hong Kong. They're so common, you might as well just call them ubiquitous. One of them is San Miguel, and the other 3 are Carlsberg, Blue Girl, and Singdo. We're off to a good start with San Miguel. The first thing I noticed was that the head generation was a little bit better, and the head was a little bit denser, less sudsy, less big bubbles, and it actually stuck around long enough for me to adjust the camera and sit back down again. So San Miguel started off pretty well in the smell too. I get a little bit of hops, and this is the first cheap beer I've had where I could actually detect some hops in the smell of the beer. But like the other cheaper beers, we're getting a lot of grain smell. You can smell the mash. It smells a little bit sour, a little bit of the fermentation byproduct still sitting in this beer. Still, I think at this point I have higher expectations than I did of the other beers that I've had. It's got a pretty balanced flavor on the whole. A little bit sour up front, exactly what I smelled. And the finish slowly turns a little bit oaky. It's got a little bit of an oaky kind of bitter finish. As it sits on the palate, a few seconds after taking the drink, it does turn bitter, a little bit sudsy. I'm getting a bit of a soapy feeling in my mouth, a little bit astringent, yeah. Oh, I didn't mention the color. The color is, at this point, almost precisely the same. I need to get 4 cans of these and pour them into separate glasses and sit them next to each other to see if we can actually see any meaningful difference in the colors. After I finished my last video, I was sitting around drinking some of the remaining cans of the blue ice, and I realized that I'd done the beers that I was reviewing a bit of a disservice. The brewers probably expect you to be drinking this stuff while eating salty snacks or pizza. What do Hong Kong people eat while they watch football? These are a Taiwanese snack that we found at our local grocery store. They're little, seriously, they look like chicken nuggets, but they're a bit on the sweet side, they're a little bit salty, and see how the beer works with one of my favorite Taiwan snacks. This particular snack does not cover up any of the beer's sins. But since I'm on the topic of snacks and beers, I have to pull out one more snack that I haven't covered. Okay, so we got these guys when we were in Korea. These are squid jerky. They're a little bit more sugary than salty. It's kind of like chewing on a fishy, sweet, salty rubber band. Oh, I have no idea what it is about these guys. They bring out all the bitterness. So I think I told you guys in my last video that Skol's a pretty common beer in Hong Kong. Poured the beer out, and almost the moment I was done pouring, the head dissipated. It would be a clear yellow beer again, cloudless. It's a little bit darker. It's got a few more hints of amber than the San Miguel did. The fizz really stuck around for a good minute on this beer. It looked like a freshly poured Coca-Cola almost. All I'm getting here is sweet malt. I've got no hop detection. It's just a little bit like a sugary, grainy beer is what I'm smelling right now. It hit the palate really smoothly. No really noticeable hop flavor. Grainy, sweet beer, kind of fades a little bit through a bitter taste. But it's not real strong, it's not real offensive. When it hits the top of the palate, I get a little bit more of a grainy flavor than I did with the other beers. It tastes grainy. Mouthfeel's just a tiny bit viscous. It doesn't cross the line into oily at all. It's getting sour as I progress through the can. Okay, snack time with Skol. Sweet, crispy, slightly chickeny. Oh, the interaction just hits like a bit of a bitter note almost immediately. I mean, it's not a terrible combination. It works. It doesn't add anything to the beer, but it doesn't kill the beer either. Oh, now we should try the beer killer. Oh, it's like a big mouthful of extra gross seawater. Oh, why am I doing this to myself? Fishy, fishy seawater. You two are not meant to be together. The pour, I'd say San Miguel was the clear winner on just the aesthetics of the pour. When you pour the San Miguel out, you get a bit of a creamy looking head that actually sticks around for a few seconds. I found that the San Miguel actually had a little bit of character to it. I was able to smell some hops in this beer. But when I got to the Skol, I just couldn't detect much of anything. Whereas the San Miguel, a little bit of hops, a little bit of fermentation, a little bit of mash smell. You could smell a little bit of the byproduct smells that you'd expect beer making to produce. And the taste more or less bore that out. And it definitely had more character than the Skol. The absence of character that you get in a Skol or a Blue Ice turns into a virtue because it doesn't overpower the food that you're trying to eat. Whereas the San Miguel, it's like it's trying to be a real beer, but it hasn't gotten far enough, nearly close enough to being a real beer to me for me to want to drink it on its beer merits. I'm almost ambivalent, but I like the Skol a hair better than I like the San Miguel. I've got Blue Ice and Skol right about a 2.7 in my inoffensive category, which puts them just shy of being an enjoyable beer, a beer that I might actually go seek out at the grocery store. But if I knew I was going to be eating a lot of salty snacks, I'd probably intentionally buy a couple of those beers. The San Miguel, it's almost a real beer. It's got real beer flavor, but it's not close enough. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, San Miguel is one of the 4 ubiquitous beers in Hong Kong. Carlsberg is also another ubiquitous beer in Hong Kong, but not this one. The ubiquitous Carlsberg is the green one. But this one was the next on the shelf at 7-Eleven, so I had to pick it up, and it's next in line for my review. It's Carlsberg Special Brew, and I've never had it before. Dry Finish is a beer I've seen a few times at the grocery store, but I've never picked it up either. So this is a grocery store find. This is my 7-Eleven beer. Both of them are up next in the next video. I'm going to try to get the next video posted by Monday. So come back, watch some more videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the Hong Kong brews, and happy holidays.